Hi everyone, welcome to week 1 of English 102. I'm really excited to have you here. This video is going to go over our assignments for week 1 and then just the focus of the class to start off. My dog Suede is over here behind me, and he'll probably make several cameos this semester, but I'm going to say hi Suede. So let's go ahead and get started. So each week I'm going to post a screencast of a PowerPoint that I make to just kind of walk you through the assignments for each week and then the focus that we're doing. So this week we're going to focus on just an introduction to research and then also the specific type of research we're doing, which is called an ethnography. More on that in a little bit. So the first thing I want to do is kind of just go through a list of what you want to accomplish this week. So ours is an online course, meaning that it is what we call asynchronous, meaning that we don't meet at a certain time at the same time every week. But what will happen is each week I will post all of the assignments and the materials you need, and then you can work at your own pace through those assignments for the week. So this week, a few things. There's a student inventory form, which is pretty much like a survey that I'd like you to fill out. It's a Google form that just gives me some information about you and then to help me kind of be a better instructor during our course. And then also make sure you read our syllabus. If you haven't yet, now is a good time. Then you'll have readings each week. This week I'm asking that you read Curious Researcher, page 1 through 17, and then an article titled Putting Ethnographic Writing in Context, and finally a short video, it's about 6 minutes, called Incarnation of Self, which is an example ethnography. And then the two assignments we have for this week is Research Reflection number 1. So it's going to be due Thursday, and then you'll want to respond to classmates on that reflection by Sunday, and then complete an internet sleuthing assignment by Monday. I'll go through some tips for that as well. So you can find these on Blackboard. I've included some screenshots here, but you'll go to Blackboard and then Research Writing Project, and then there you'll see a week 1 folder. In that folder, you'll see all of these assignments in order, and you'll just go top to bottom. That's sort of how I build the course. So the other thing I wanted to point out is at the end of our syllabus is a course schedule. We're doing an 8-week course, so this will go by very fast. However, we're gonna break a project down into pieces. So I would just make sure that you look at the schedule each week to kind of see what you have coming up and plan accordingly. So this class will go by fast, but I am excited to see how it goes for everybody. So like I said, here are the assignments and readings for week 1. And then if you're curious what we're going to do next week, that's here. And then we're kind of just going to go in order that way. So if you ever need to kind of work ahead or see what's coming up because you know you've got a big test in a few weeks and you want to kind of see what we're going to be doing. So a few things I want you to kind of think about before you start the work for this week. So take a minute, pause the video, and ask yourself, to you, what is research? Why do we need it? Those are the 2 questions I want you to think about this week. All right, so pause. So previously, I've asked students to respond to these questions, and these are a couple of responses that I really like and that I use to kind of conceptualize what we're doing. So first of all, the student up here to the left said, research to me is looking for and learning new things about whatever subject you're researching. The product of this is a new way of thinking, learning, being more informed, and forming new opinions. What I really like here is the idea of creating something new. So sometimes we approach research from this perspective of, oh, I'm just gonna kind of see what's out there and regurgitate or restate that. And to me, research is seeing what's out there and then also sort of combining it with what you know and developing something new in the process. And then another response I liked was another student said to dig deep into in-depth learning to learn more about a certain topic to get a full aspect of it from both sides. So this is also a part of research I want you all to think about, that when you research a topic, you're not looking necessarily for a surface level understanding, but hopefully by the end of this semester, at the end of this course, you'll have a much deeper understanding of the topic that you choose to study. So in its most basic form, research writing is writing that uses evidence to persuade or inform an audience. So this really builds on a lot of what you've probably learned in English 101 about having a point of view, being able to support it. What this course, English 102, focuses on is the evidence piece, is on incorporating new types of information alongside your own ideas. So academic research writing still needs a thesis, an argument, evidence, typically primary and secondary sources, and then citations, which are explaining where your evidence came from. So we're gonna focus on each of these in turn. We're gonna start with that evidence, talk about citations. What we're actually gonna do is come to a thesis, come to developing an argument about your sources a little later in the class. So it might be a little different order than you're used to. But the project that we're going to be completing, and this description is on Blackboard, is called a research writing project. And it's focusing on a type of research called an ethnography. So this might sound like a really big, scary word, but ethno, you might think of the word ethnic. Ethno means culture, and graphy means to write about, or a picture of. So I like to think of an ethnography as a picture of a culture. So what we're gonna do, and after you've read the project description on Blackboard, this might give you a better idea. So I have a screenshot of it here, but it's also on Blackboard. What we're gonna do is choose a culture or a group that you're a part of. And I have given some examples on the rest of the project description, but so for me, I am an English professor, I am an aunt, I am from St. Charles, I live in St. Louis. I actually don't know if I'm an atheist. I might consider myself one. Something to explore. I'm a baker, I'm a wife, I'm a dog mom. All of these are groups I'm a part of. So what you're gonna do is choose a culture similarly, develop questions about it, plan, develop a method for how you're gonna answer those questions. We're gonna analyze sources related to your questions, and then we're gonna work on compiling it all together. Now this might sound like a lot, but remember that this project is going to be the focus of our entire course. So each week we're gonna do a piece. Like this week, just choose a culture or a group that you're part of, all right? Next week, we'll focus on the questions and we'll go from there. So this week, I just want you to kind of start thinking about what is something that I'm interested in learning more about, or what is a group I'm part of that I think would make a good focus. All right, so once you've gotten to what you're researching, then it's time to kind of think about where you can look for evidence or sources. So primarily, research sources are often from library databases, primary research like interviews and surveys, your own observations as a member of a group that you're a part of, books, journals, organizational websites. That should hopefully be pretty familiar. So this week, the internet sleuthing assignment that you guys are going to turn in for Monday is going to focus on just getting familiar or re-familiar with some of these pieces, particularly the library databases. So I'm not going to play the whole thing here, but I am going to post this video called What are Databases and Why You Need Them. So I think a lot of us are used to, okay, I have to do a research paper. Here's my topic. I'm going to put this into Google and see what comes up. And I know that that's not always a bad thing, but you want to remember that Google is based on your user preferences, and what you search on Google and what someone else searches is going to give different results. And those results are based on your search history, based on a lot of other factors around you. So what databases do is they sort of take that subjectivity out of it. They make sure that the search that you're putting in is giving you back things that you know are trustworthy, accurate, and for the most part, objective. So once you've kind of got an idea of why we need databases, I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit of how to use them, and this is what you're going to use for your assignments this week. So let me actually go over to the library website. And a few things you're just going to need to know. When you go to the library homepage, which is what you'll need for this assignment, scroll down and then you'll see this little blue box. This is where you'll need to access the SWIC databases. So you'll notice that it's already selected 2 articles here. And then these here underneath are EBSCO, JSTOR, Nexus Uni, and Opposing Viewpoints. Those are SWIC's library databases. A little confusing, I know. So if you kind of hover over each of them, you can see what they're about. And then you can click on the one that you'd like to search. You can also just select one and click go, and it'll take you to that database. You may need to log in. it'll take you to that database and you can search from here. But you can also put in a topic and search there. So say I wanted to search for, what comes up? Okay, so say I'm writing about baking and I want to make sure what I find is a full text. So I'll go over here and limit to full text. And say I like the sound of this one, Her Own Sweet Time. So say I like this article, I can click on it and I can scroll down and see the full text of the article. This is great. I found something I think I could use. A couple things that you want to keep in mind. You can cite this article directly here. So always in the databases, look for what's called a cite button over here to the right-hand side. Click there. We're working in APA format this semester. And then this is what I would put at the end of my research paper. I want you to do this as you go, as you're finding sources, because that way you don't lose what you're looking for. If you like to save links, make sure that you look for what's called a permalink. And this is actually the link to the article itself. If I give you this link, this is what we call a dead link. It's the link to my search session because as a SWIC employee or a student, you get access to EBSCO. If someone else tried to search via this URL, it will not work, okay? So make sure that you look for that permalink instead of the dead link. And then you can also email it to yourself, you can print it, save it to a Google Drive, all of that. So that is just EBSCO, but you can kind of use the other databases as well. So your guys' first kind of major assignment for this week is to mess with the databases, to get comfortable with them. The assignment I've given you will hopefully walk you through that and help you become more comfortable. If you have questions or if you get stuck, please reach out. I'm available primarily via email, but I can also set up a time to meet via Microsoft Teams or talk to you on the phone if I'm in my office. I'm here to help you and to help you kind of get comfortable and get started. Our class is going to be quick, but that doesn't mean that it won't be a good time. All right, so go ahead and kind of get started with the readings and the assignments for this week, and I will talk to you on Blackboard.